Hello everyone, this is Arivo again, and in today's class we are going to continue the third part of the chapter Long Walk to Freedom. Uh, the last two parts were already released, and this is going to be the third one and also the final part of this chapter, Long Walk to Freedom, and this is the second unit of our 10 CBSE English textbook. Like as I told you, it is an autobiography written by Nelson Mandela, and already we have seen the part 1 and part 2, also its contents. And this video is going to be the final part of this chapter, Long Walk to Freedom. So the first point here also, I just for the better understanding, I have segregated the points. Totally 5 points are going to be discussed here, and the first point is two obligations of a man. So Nelson Mandela, he quoted the twin obligations, that is the two obligations of a common man. The first obligation itself is an obligation towards his family. Obligations are nothing but the responsibilities of a man. So every man has different responsibilities. The very first responsibility for a man is to his family, the responsibility towards his family, because he has to look after parents, wife, children, and sister or brother or whoever it may be. So here the main responsibility of a man is towards his family, right? And the next responsibility is his responsibility towards his society and to his people and to the country. That is the second one. So have this idea in mind. Two obligations of a man are given here. That is the first obligation, first responsibility of a man is the responsibility to his family members. Maybe he has to fulfill the things of the family members, maybe like the responsibility of a father to his daughter or son, the responsibility of a son to his parents, responsibility of a husband to his wife. All these are the family responsibilities. So that is the basic one. Secondly, the second obligation or the second responsibility of a man is like as a citizen of a country, what he contributes to his people, to his community, to his the entire nation. That is going to be the second obligation. So Nelson Mandela clearly state these two obligations in this paragraph. Like in a civilized society or in a liberal society, in a civil society where the man is allowed to fulfill all his responsibilities. Maybe the responsibilities differ, but depending on the abilities and his inclinations, it differs slightly. But anyway, in a free society, a man is able to fulfill these two obligations, both towards the family and towards the country. So they are able to do it. But in a country like South Africa, it is really difficult. Even he states that fulfilling the even one obligation, one responsibility itself is not possible. They are actually unable to fulfill the responsibility as a citizen of the country or as a man of the society or a man among the race. Even they are not allowed to fulfill the things for the family even. So mainly he states that for a man of his race, a man from that particular country, South Africa, in particular a man of his color, that is the black skinned man, he is unable to fulfill any of his responsibilities either. Also, if anyone is trying to do something for the country or for the people or for this the race, the black race, they will be completely separated from the family, because they can't stay with the family members, because they will be tortured brutally. Suppose here Nelson Mandela is he tries to contribute something for the struggle against the political system. He was not allowed to stay with his family, because if he is found with his family members, the whole family will be taken to prison and they will be tortured. So for that reason, these guys who are the rebellions, who are involving themselves in a rebel or any rebellion, they have to hide themselves. They can't walk out freely. So they have to stay far away from their family members. So what he wants to say here in this paragraph is that the man, a black man in South Africa, cannot fulfill any of his obligations, any of his responsibilities, either to his family members or to the country or for the other black people. They can't do anything. If they try, they are going to face trouble. And later, when he started participating in the struggle against the political system, he he failed. He got failed in fulfilling the uh, responsibilities as a husband, as a father, as a son to his parents. So he failed in all these. The first responsibility, he couldn't look after the family members properly. He couldn't complete all his responsibilities for the family members. But at least the one thing happened, that is, he did something for the black people. So that is what expressed in this first paragraph. Yeah. Now the second point, according to Nelson Mandela, so he was born free, because he was not born with any hunger or any other problem. Because he, though the problem prevailed, actually he did not realize what's going on around him. At that time, he did not realize the society was dominated by someone. So that his period of birth, like the infant stage, it was quite happy for him. He was very free to run into the fields around his mother's hut, and he was free to swim in the waters which was flowing through his village, and also he was free to ride on the backs of bulls. So he was free to do anything in his place, in his village, until he followed the words of his father, and also with the laws of man and the customs of the groups, the tribal groups, the community people. He followed everything, and he led a happy life there. So under the care of his parents, his life was quite very happy, without realizing the problems around him. So he wants to stress or highlight the point that the birth was completely free, but later, the latest half or the later part of his life made him to realize that the entire people, the black race, was dominated by someone. But here he speaks about his happy childhood memories, right? Because whatever the baby needs, that was provided by the parents. The security, food, the basic needs, everything was given. So the happy days for him really is his childhood days, right? So here he concludes this second point also. So the next point, that is, freedom was an illusion. So in the second point, he expressed his childhood memories and also his thought about his life under the care of his parents. But later, during his boyhood days, he started to realize gradually what he realized, that is, the freedom that he enjoyed, that was just an illusion. What does it mean, the illusion? Illusion is nothing but that something which appears to be real, but it is not real. Illusion is that something which appears to be real, but it is not the real thing. So here also, it was like he was enjoying a free life, but in reality it is not so. So he started realizing it, that he was not living a liberal or free life. He started feeling the dominance of the whites gradually. So the hunger for his freedom started growing inside. Later, as a young man, like in the city Johannesburg, like he wanted to get educated, to earn something, and also to get married to someone and to have a good family. He longed to have all this freely, like every other man in other countries. So that is the quite common and natural expectations of a common man. And here he felt that it is not going to be an easy thing for him to get educated, because in the city Johannesburg he was not treated equally. Even the basic rights are denied for the black. So every day was a painful day for them, because one way or another the white supremacy tortured them, oppressed them. And he felt having a normal life itself is very difficult in Johannesburg. So here in this part, the hunger, the beginning of the hunger for freedom started right from his young days. That as an young man, that terrible experience, the bad experience, ignited his minds, and so his hunger for freedom started here. So here the third point is over. The next point here. So as a student, initially he wanted the freedom for himself, the life in which he can stay at night wherever he wants, and also he wants to read the books or something whichever he likes, or the place that he can visit wherever he chose. That sort of life, that freedom he actually expected. So as a student, the desire for him was to get his own freedom, the temporary freedom to enjoy his life. Whatever he wants to do, he wants to have it. As his basic rights, everything was denied, the hunger for freedom was at its peak. That is, in the beginning, his desire is to get freedom for himself. But later on, slowly he started realizing that not only him, even his brothers, sisters, they were not free. They were not treated equally with the white. So, when he realized the fact, he joined the African National Congress, the party which fought for this political system, which fought for the white supremacy. So, this joining of, the joining of Nelson Mandela into this party, African National Congress, that boosted up his desire for freedom. That actually changed his temporary struggle for his own freedom into a greater hunger for the freedom of his country, for all the people. So the normal hunger turned out to be a great hunger. That is the hunger for freedom of his people, the entire people of black. So later, after that, when he started involving into the rebellions, and when he identified himself as a rebel, his life changed completely. He was unable to live like an ordinary man. He was actually a life-loving man. He loved to live his life in a peaceful way, like every other man. with his family members, with a lovable wife and the kids, and enjoying the time with them, spending good time with the children, playing with them. All these wishes, all these expectations, even he had, but he was unable, he was not given that freedom to to experience all this, because he was a rebel at that time. So he started concentrating on the part to fight for the cause. So when he was taken into prison, he realized that how a life of a common man changed him into a criminal, like a criminal, and even the life-loving man changed like a monk. Even a lovable husband changed into a man who has no home at all. So that sort of life he had during his young ages. So here he concludes the next point. Yeah. And here finally the last point. So here Mandela speaks about his own like how he treats himself as a representation of the entire black race. By these words, listen little carefully. Even you can understand the responsibility that he has taken to himself. You can understand that very clearly. The chains on one of my people is the chains on all of them. The chains on all of them is the chains on me. So here he treats the suffering of one man of black race is almost equal to the suffering of the entire race. The suffering of entire race is the suffering of my own. So here he speaks about the freedom which is indivisible according to him. It shouldn't be divided for a particular group, like they can enjoy the freedom. Some other group or the race, they should be tortured or denied rights, their basic rights. By nature, there is no such law. It was actually created by some group of people. So he condemns that idea. And secondly, he speaks about the oppressors and the people who are oppressed. Oppressed means distressed or tortured by the other groups, right? So here, according to Mandela, the people, the oppressed, they have to be liberated. They should have their freedom. Also, similarly, oppressors, they are also to be liberated from what? According to Mandela, the oppressors, that is the people who takes away the freedom of another one, they are actually the prisoners of hatred. They are the prisoners of hatred. Right? When you take the freedom of someone, you are under the control of the bad attribute, the negative attribute, hatred. So you are getting controlled by the negativity called hatred. So here the oppressors, those people, the one who takes away the freedom of another one, himself is just behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness, we can say. So when you are narrow-minded, like that, when you stand, like when you are narrow-minded, you can't understand the feelings of others. So that is what he says. Even the oppressors are the prisoners of this narrow-minded. So these oppressed people should be liberated from the oppressors. Same way, these oppressors, the controllers, or one who takes away the freedom, they are also to be freed from hatred and from prejudice and from the narrow-mindedness. So here, according to him, only these people are not in prison now, they are also. So both of their humanity were robbed of, taken away by someone or something. So like this, people who are oppressed, like they were in need of their freedom, the oppressors also, right? The people who dominated also must be freed from their hatred. So here he concludes with this great point. Actually, he wants to convey that like the people of black, right? Only we were not denied our basic rights, or only we were not denied our humanity. Even the oppressors, people who dominated us, also must be freed from their narrow-mindedness. They have to understand that freedom is common for all the race. So far we have discussed many points and many of the thoughts of the great man Nelson Mandela. Right? Like we celebrate our the national leader Gandhiji as Mahatma. He is the Mahatma of South Africa. There is no doubt in it, because he spent so many years in prison for only one great cause. That is, he wanted to liberate his own race and own people. For that great cause, he sacrificed half of his lifetime in prison. And later, he became the president, and he represented the entire race. And in this lesson, he wants to convey the entire world, right? How it was painful for the black people when their basic rights were denied, when they were not treated equally. Even in our own house, we can feel when somebody is given much priority. For example, when our mother or father is trying to give more freedom to any one particular child, whereas another one, when they are controlled, definitely it causes a great mental stress to that child. The same way here, the people of the same country who lives in the same land, but their lifestyle differs because of the political system. It was actually not unofficial one, it was an official political system which separated people by their race. When God created us, there was no such division among us. But it was only in the minds of us, only due to the change of mindset, only due to the development in some regions and the underdevelopment in some parts of the world. And some were really well educated, some were not educated. So these situations has created the feeling of hatred, the feeling of enmity, the feeling of dominance, all this. So here Nelson Mandela was very optimistic, and also he expressed his the painful experiences, but he conveys his optimistic view towards the future. In future, this sort of thing should not happen to anyone or any group or any community or any race. So he concludes that in this chapter, he concludes with a great point that the people who takes away the freedom of another one is also they were missing their humanity. Right? They are also prisoner of something. There may be a feeling of hatred or something else. So never ever takes away the freedom of anyone by any means. Right? So allow everyone to live peacefully, spread love, and live happily. That was the message that we need to take to our minds. Fortunately, we have witnessed so many historical events, historical leaders too, and their life, and we have read about their biographies, autobiographies. So by doing all this, right, even we have to understand the pain of someone whose freedom was taken away. Also, what kind of impact it can create for the future generation, that we need to realize there, and we should avoid dominating someone. Thanks for watching.